We're rolling. It's engaged. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Toonkind FPS, an end of an arc. I am your humble Vwild, and I am here today to have some delightful fun with the Master DM, a wonderful person who has created something that has been an absolute fantastic time to go through the entirety of. We're doing this after an excellent game that is going to stay with me for the rest of my life because we had fabulous and a great DM. Would you introduce yourself, my bestie, my favorite?
Golly gosh. Hello everybody, my name is Whis, and yes, I am the aforementioned DM, the mastermind behind the Pokemani conspiracy storyline, which we have officially ended, but you know, there are always some loose threads, aren't there? But there's one thing that Detective Stagehand is good at, and that's tying up loose ends.
There are many loose ends, and we're gonna bring a decent few of those to a close today. There are still ones that other people will be able to handle, but this is gonna be good. It's gonna be.
So where are we kicking off?
I think we're kicking off. Let's microcosm it. Let's zoom in for a moment before zooming out. Let's go inside a certain boat. Inside a certain room in a certain boat where one of the guest rooms has been turned into a small brig, as is wont to happen from time to time, because sometimes you do need to bring people back with you on the boat. And hey, if you've got enough rooms and you don't want to use the broom closet, it was an almost of staring at the broom closet and going, we could.
Oh my gosh.
Let's focus in on, hey Ark, how's you doing, buddy?
I mean, to be fair, not great. He's got 2 points of exhaustion after everything that he went through in the second part of Ouroboros. But nobody cares particularly much because he is an asshole.
He's an utter asshole.
Yeah.
Master great things, he for asshole things.
So he's not been particularly well, he hasn't been argumentative or combative since being brought on board the good question. He hasn't fought against the cuffs that Lydon put on him. He's just sort of sat where he was put and just sort of sat there. Like, he's not he doesn't look depressed or sad or anything like that. He just has that same stern look on his face that he always does. He does also look rough as guts. Like, he's not got a lot of HP. Like, he spent about an hour fighting with Helios, and yeah, they are neither of them are weaklings. So he's a bit rough.
Yeah, that is what you call the normal fights last minutes. Something lasting an hour is a holy shit.
Oh yeah, ain't it just? So he's tired. He's kind of annoyed, as far as anyone can tell, on the surface level anyway. So he's just sort of sat there. It's like he's resigned himself to being in this cell. So he's not going to try and fight back or anything.
And he has been left mostly alone the entire time. Whatever the others do, seeing as we're starting this FPS near the end of their little journey they're having. Whatever anyone else has done, they've done. But he's still alive. That's great.
That's an improvement over the potentials there, yeah.
And hey, he knows his daughter's alive, which is probably an improvement to how he thought this was going to be an hour ago.
Yes, he definitely had some concerns about that particular possibility. If there's one thing that he really didn't want to have to deal with was having to do to Sally what he had to do to his wife. So he's at least glad for that.
Yeah. But eventually his quiet reverie will, I think that's how you pronounce the word. It will be broken eventually. Roll me perception, I guess.
All right.
Just because I want to see the satisfaction of rolling with disadvantage because you've got exhaustion, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I should think about getting up the exhaustion rules. I mean, I have only rolled once, and he rolled a 4. What's your perception actually?
Thank you, RJ. We love you.
Thank you. uh, there are some of my NPCs that you can tell were made quite some time ago, before I knew how to do anything D&D. And this is one of them. But let me. Oh my fucking god!
Oh! What did he get? What did he get?
Okay, so let me put some numbers on the table here. Alamos has a perception modifier of 0. The first roll on the dice was a 4. And I'm like, I probably don't need to roll it, but I will just for shits and giggles. Do you want to know what the second roll was? A nat
What is it?
1. He notices fuck all. Not a thing. He is too inside his own head. Like, Lynn could be poking him in the face before he would notice.
Gods. So, I think how it plays out, in fact, is he's in that room. He's in that room, and you know when you're tired, so you do the long blinks just by accident. And nothing's changed for a long period of time. And it's just long blink, nothing's changed. Long blink, nothing's changed. Long blink. Monkey in the room.
I'm gonna do him a whiz save. Jesus. Okay. Alright, fine. Wait, it's no. Oh, no. It's not on saves. Okay, so. It's a 17 on a whiz save, so he does maybe blink a little bit, but does not react other than that.
Out of character. Aww, we didn't get to scare him shitless.
It's very in character for him, though, I must say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the detective that arrested him, Detective Stagehand, she's standing there. Just standing there. The door's already closed again. She's straight back, professional. Just watching him.
He'll sort of sit up a little bit straighter, like if she's going to be professional, so will he. But he doesn't say anything. He's going to let her talk first.
And it's a long, long moment before she does. Roll me insight if you like.
Sure. Are you any good at that? Nope.
I love this man's stats. I hope you know I love this man's stats.
There are some things he is exceptionally good at, but other things that he is woefully bad at. Man, I was such an amateur when I made this sheet, but this is funny, so I'm not changing it.
Exactly, it's great. And yeah, with a 6, it's honestly probably quite disconcerting. You can tell you're being studied, but you can't tell what she's finding.
Uh-huh. Yep, okay. Well, he's just going to sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm. And eventually that unreadable expression, that cold expression does just look at him and go. Well, here we are.
So it would seem. Seem very sure of your position, Detective Stagehand.
I am. It's certainly been an interesting time out of it all. But I think I know where we stand.
I suppose with your profession you make a habit of putting your nose into other people's business where it doesn't belong.
I always say that. Always. It's. I never get why people in these situations always say such things. Sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, meddling in things you couldn't foresee, all those sorts of things. Yet, quite frankly, it's incredibly plain why anyone would get involved. And at the very least, you definitely made it my business at one point. Maybe you could have got away with it before that, but it attracted too much notice.
And what might that have been? Dare I ask?
You dared touch my son.
He gives you a bit of an arched eyebrow expression, like he has no idea what you're talking about.
My word. You. Oh, oh, that is actually quite rich. And she's actually looking at you, and it is actually. It's for all it is cold now. She's realizing things in her head, and she's actually kind of amused in the "Are you fucking serious" way. Just you knew where he was. But did you do any reading beyond that?
Only as much as I needed to.
So no, then.
Enough to not stick around.
Hmm.
You have a
Well,
reputation, detective. And I
I do.
simply swept in to take what was mine.
Well, you are arrogant, aren't you? When
You
did
wouldn't
that
be the first to
manifest?
say so.
And yet you never listen.
Why should I listen to you when it concerns Pokemani business?
Well, an outside perspective can always provide some interesting insight, but you won't listen to me, perhaps. And you don't listen to your own people either, do you?
Go ahead and lecture me as much as you please, detective. I have done what I have thought to be the right thing. And if you disagree, that's your problem.
My word. Sitting on that other side of that desk. Head of everything. I can see that myself. I do it for my people, but when did it make you so superior to everyone else?
This is not an act of arrogance, if that's what you're trying to imply.
Oh, of course not. Of course. You
You
know
leave me
best.
woefully unconvinced.
You know best. All your actions have a good cause. Ends justify the means. You've been kind to people. You've done your best. All of your acts, all the things you've built, all the things you've done, it's all had an end goal in mind.
Gonna roll a whiz save real quick. I love rolling things he has no modifiers in.
I love it too.
Lynn can see he is visibly starting to get ticked off. He's not quite like he's sitting down and he has his arms cuffed in front or behind him.
I'd say behind, just because that's safer. And
Sure.
also when he was tackled.
Yeah, alright, no worries. So, like, he's sitting down and his hands are cuffed behind him. So he has a very limited range of movement, also the whole exhaustion thing. But he just sort of sits up a bit straighter and he puffs out, like, he puffs out his chest a little bit, but not in a I'm being really pompous, proud peacock kind of thing. It's a I'm making myself bigger kind of thing, which is wholly unnecessary because he is quite a bit taller than her. But he's doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And he, with a 5 on that whiz save, he's not tempering his words as much as he was a minute ago. I have given people what they needed. I have guided my people through a war. And we have come out the other side alive.
You did. But you never really left that mindset, did you?
And what, pray tell, would you have expected me to do otherwise? The ghost and dark types ruined everything. They ruined our lives. They took our population down to less than 100. And it has been tooth and nail to get us back to any semblance of strength. What I did was for the good of the Pokemani. Nothing more.
Nothing more, you say? Huh. Yet, it wasn't all perfect even then, was it? I mean, the plants at the least.
He kind of lets out a low kind of growl noise, but he doesn't verbalize an answer to that.
Never did figure out why that was happening, did you?
Once the problem was rectified, I had other matters to attend.
You treated what you could see. Well, I say you did. My son solved the problem. And not because of any actions you did.
He's giving you that raised eyebrow expression again. Am I going to roll you a deception? Sure, I'll roll you a deception. That is not particularly high, but that's alright. You're an asshole and I don't care. What's your deception?
How about no heart emoji?
He's trying to pull the threads of his temper back together and do the I am a respectable politician bit. But he started to. He thinks he twigged to what you're talking about because there is a certain set of circumstances of which there is very little doubt in his mind as to what happened, and so he's just sort of sitting there, right, the boy, of course. But he hasn't said that out loud. But Lynn can kind of feel the thought process just tick over.
Mm-hmm. The symptoms were treated, but you never found the heart of it, did you? And once it was all nice and neat and sorted, you just dismissed it all because problem solved.
I had too much to pay attention to continue to dedicate resources to something that was no longer an issue.
And so you never learn. That's the thing about you. That's what I'm starting to see. You see things in one view. You focus on them, and then when they're done, they're done. Just move along. Don't change the view. Don't look at it too deeply. Don't think about it after. Well, guess that makes sense for you. Looking into the bright light. Blinding, arrogant superiority.
You're the one sounding pretty arrogant from where I'm sitting, Detective. Very high and mighty in your own position. So, quite frankly, I'm not impressed.
There are differences between you and I. And honestly, this is actually quite nice on that front to see. One of the main ones is I listen to the people at my side and underneath me. And I'm not infallible. I know that. I know sitting behind the desk, it makes one elevated. It can make one lose sight of things. And you certainly did. I mean, you also almost caused the end of the world, but if...
Now, that I find very hard to believe.
Really?
Yes, really. I'm honestly quite bamboozled by your accusation.
She just looks at you again. She's just... There is something studying you, and she figures a few things out more in her head, and you get the distinct feeling that you can't rile her up anymore.
He'll just sort of sit back a little bit after that declaration and just sort of draw in a bit of a breath before releasing it very, very slowly and just look at her.
I guess I have got two more things. We have got a place to be shortly. But it wasn't just all for progress in the end, was it? Because You've never let go of your grudges. I can understand it to an extent. I can see it. Why you'd hate those types, why you'd hate the dark types and the ghost types so much. I can see it. After all, what Helios did, horrific, but you went and put the sins of one man on every head.
One man. You think it was one man? All
No,
his doing? Hardly.
no. Spread from him.
A war cannot be fought with only one adversary. It takes an army. An army who is not afraid to end the lives of the people they fought against. No matter how hard we tried to be compassionate, to disable them instead of outright killing them when they sieged our city and started killing our people. I have done what they deserved.
Even the children.
Children raised by those types. Murderous betrayers. It's in their nature and their nurture.
Wow. I can see why you frustrate Amber can't.
And what do you
I
know
know
of
a lot of
Undercunt?
people, seeing as I've met them. Decent bit.
Let me get my dice. I am loving this. That is a 2. That is palpable, tangible shock, surprise, and confusion. You have met my god. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like he manages to keep himself from saying anything, but like he cannot hide the fact that he is so confused. Like, and like he's completely baffled by this. It's like, you've met Unbecant. What the fuck? Yeah. That's just, he's just sort of sitting there. He's a little bit aghast. It's like he's got no reason to disbelieve her, but he's just like, what? What? Huh?
Not the first god I've met. Not going to be the last, but yeah. And Unbecant certainly had opinions. You know what I said earlier about you never looked into the heart of the matter. You never look at the sources. In fact, I bet your people wondered that no more druids were forming in the types. When the plants wouldn't grow, when all of that happened, I bet they thought perhaps it was a curse. Perhaps it was something dangerous from elsewhere. Perhaps it was even divine. Alamos didn't believe in such things, did he?
He is visibly fuming. Like he's curled in a little bit, like his shoulders are hunched a bit, his back is arched a little, and he's furious, absolutely furious.
You destroyed knowledge, Alamos. You silenced things. Did you think the gods would be thrilled?
I suspected the gods would understand. Knowledge is not lost simply because copies of books are destroyed. We've lost more.
No, indeed. But then you went further. It wasn't just the books. It was changing the narrative, changing what people believed,
My
creating
people were
myths.
happier that way. To have the memories of what happened to our homeland no longer being right in front of their noses at every given moment. Sitting on every street corner, walking around every turn. Some of those people watched their loved ones die at the hands of the ghost and the dark types. So, I removed a point of agony, ripped out the thorn.
Did you ask them what they thought about it all?
One hardly converses with a thorn in their side before they cast it aside. Going to talk of thorns with the druids and everything. You blue-ray history and gods. You just don't see. You just don't see it. What I say, you're going to miss the point intentionally. Are you expecting some kind of apology, Detective? Giving me the runaround like this, trying to force some revelation? Because
No.
it's not going to happen, no matter how much of your breath you waste.
Oh, I know that. I know that very, very well. I can't change your mind. I can't do much at all on that front. I figured that out. Figured that out before I even stepped in here. It's fascinating how you take over all this. Your justifications. But let's take a walk, I think. You and I. Because there are two final points, I guess, that we can get to. And she does, from where she'd been standing, just slightly shift, just not quite a roll of the shoulders, but a little straightening, and just goes, "Come on." Because there are two parts that I think are rather intriguing. One, your nature and nurture talk. That is fascinating to see you think that. And she does she comes forward and she grabs him by the arm and rolls strength to see. Like she's got a strong grip. Bless this monkey.
Yeah, I'm going to do a strength save to contest just because I think it's funny. He doesn't want to try and escape.
Yeah.
He just wants to make things difficult for her because, like, again, 2 points of exhaustion. He knows his limits.
I want to see what you get because I know for a fact it ain't gonna do shit.
Oop, that is not the right number. Plus that.
Yeah, great. That's what she got on the dice. So, so you go to make this difficult, and she lifts you without effort.
Yeah, I think after a moment or two of trying to be obstinate, he's just gonna go, okay, this isn't gonna work. And he'll just let her lead him.
And her expression doesn't change as he's fighting, or not even fighting, but as he's being obstinate. It doesn't change at all. It is Honestly, it might even vaguely make him think of all the times when people have been obstinate in his office. All the times when they've done things and he knew it wasn't gonna work. Role reversal on that front, I guess. She just
A cruel irony.
indeed. But as she's beginning to walk, she just goes, You you defined types. The dark and the ghost. Oh, erase them from existence. They're villainous, evil, murderous, all those things. Unredeemable since birth. A type doesn't define people, Alamos. People. People shape and define each other. And you defined yourself as something very interesting. And she opens the door and they're walking. It's a not a too long route, but you can see the light at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel in a sense as you're walking.
Yep.
Just going towards deck. And yeah, do you have anything to say at this point?
No, I don't think so. Like, he's had the better part of a century to be stubborn about all this. So he's just been like, alright, fine, be that way.
The other thing I find so fascinating. You sitting behind that desk, sitting in that office, sitting above everything else, calling the shots, taking people, deciding who stayed, who went, deciding what parts of history stayed and what went, building your tools and handling everything. I wonder when you started being on top of that mountain looking down. But there is one part that I find satisfying in today.
He just gives a bit of a huff.
Because you see, I wonder when the last time someone said this to you, but. And as you're coming into the light, roll me perception.
Okie dokie. Oh, yep, you have no modifier to that. 11.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing, roll me insight.
Okay.
That's fitting. Of you come onto deck and it was dark below deck. Not explicitly dark, but you didn't have a porthole. You were going by the light of the inside of this boat.
Yeah.
All that. And so it does take you a moment of as you come into the light, it is blinding for a second. So it does take you a sec.
Yeah.
But you do, with an 11, you do feel her hand on the cuffs. She has been holding you, but you do feel it, like, touch the actual cuffs, and that's when the insight sort of hits.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an insight of your surroundings. It's an insight of yourself. The magic you inherently hold, the power that you have within you. You only just realize it now, but it feels distinctly cut off.
He put that up to exhaustion at first, I think. Which is why he didn't notice it, because he hasn't been this tired since the first time that he fought Helios on Cinnabar Island. But as it kind of trickles in Would Lynn like to roll an insight?
Mm-hmm. 14 plus 6.
Nice. Nice. I love a dirty 20. Um, he was furious before, but now you suspect that if he were a dark type like Rye, he would fall into a dark rage at this point. He is livid. And he is going to, I suppose, a strength again to try and yank his hands away from Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to happen, but he definitely tries. Like, she can tell it tries. He tries it.
Mm-hmm.
It's only an
Mm-hmm.
11, so it ain't much, but it's a noticeable effort has been made, and he lets out this sort of low growl sort of noise. What have you done?
Gonna cycle. And I haven't done anything. Alamos. You did. Your life locks, your imprisoning of people, your banishments, your erasure of knowledge, your harming of innocence. I've seen the scars you've left on people. I've seen them very, very well, and you didn't have anyone to contest you. Not the ferryman, not Mia, not any of the people on your island, and anyone who did, you made go away. So here's where we have one very important moment, I guess. Because you, Alamos, are no longer untouchable. And she does shove you a bit more into the light with that act, and yeah, you can see clearer now. And you can see an island.
He's going to squint at it. And then let out another growl sort of noise. Cantos.
Cantos unsealed. They get to see the light. They get to see the sun.
And you get to live with the consequences.
Honestly, I think I'm going to enjoy them. I think those consequences, they will come. And we will see them. And we will talk. We will share. And I think one of your consequences, one of your greatest little things that you hate, perhaps it's because he looked like you. But I think I'm gonna enjoy watching that grow and bloom and flourish.
You can keep Raymond. And seeing as you're so intently focused on my desk, give it to him for all I care.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't deserve it.
Right. Deserves to be fire kindling. Tear down an old system. Deserved a lot better than you. And, well, has it. You know, I'm rather looking forward to you being a footnote.
Wow. I hope you enjoy patting yourself on the back, Detective Stagehand. Because if this is where my contribution to the story ends, well, I was the one keeping everything at bay. Which is a
Sure
lot
you
for
were.
one man. So now I guess it falls to you. Enjoy. Enjoy what you've
Not just
done, letting all the ghost and dark types out. And when it all comes crashing down around your ears, I suspect you will know where to find me. So that I can just smile and say, I told you so.
Oh, good, we hit the villain monologue at last. Love it when that happens.
I cannot keep a straight face at this. This is so funny. I love it.
Yeah, straight up. She looks at you, Ark, and there is just, as she said earlier, she has seen this and heard this so much before. It's you have basically looped it back around. And there is straight up, there is just a little pat of all things. She just goes, I think that's enough out of you. Goodbye, volleyball head. Tarp! And yeah, no, there is a guy basically swinging down from where he was up. This guy had been watching the entire time. And she does just go, you're gonna live. You're gonna hate it. But I can't wait to see how wrong you are. Bye-bye. And she is kind of making a note of, dear God, while he's on the boat, someone do a little bit of security because this guy's gonna get shanked.
I've glanced at the commentary channel, yeah.
Absolutely knows there are multiple people on this ship that are going to shank this guy if they don't have some sort of security in place, and honestly, she would not blame them. But she has to be better than that. But yeah, so there's Tarp, he does swing down, and there is like the straight on thud in front of the two. She just pats Ark on the shoulder, full on claps him, and just goes, "It's all yours." And because I think it's funny, I'm gonna roll Tarp's strength.
Okay, great. Welcome to Himbo Town, everybody.
Ark Alamos, how does it feel to be picked up like a sack of flour?
Oh, how undignified. Perfect.
It's straight up. Lynn don't care for your shit at all, and Tarp don't care even that. How tall is he, by the way?
Did I put it in his character sheet? No. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up the
wiki?
No, the big Pokemani reference.
Ah, yes, genius.
And then we wait 10 years for Clip Studio Paint to open up because I don't have it saved as a PNG. That's alright. We will sit here and we will wait for that to happen, and I will give you an answer to that question when it opens.
To the book, Pokemon. The big book of Pokemani thing.
Alright. Nearly there. Yay, there we go. Alamos, where are you? You are...
And while we're waiting, I will say straight up, all Ark's been saying, and she does admit he has done some goodish in, like, he did keep his people afloat. but he never progressed, not really. And he did fight. That hour was worth it because if he hadn't been there, there would have been a lot darker stuff.
Yeah.
In a way, he was pretty good as distraction. He was he was good at distraction. He was good as cannon fodder.
uh,
But he didn't end the fight. He just kept stalling it, kept sealing it.
yeah.
It was others. It was others that finished it.
Alamos is 6'6".
Right. This is a considerably shorter mink. And yeah, you are being absolutely foisted over a shoulder. It's just there is no dignity in it whatsoever. And the guy just starts chatting to Lynn. Just you are being, in essence, ignored for a moment, Ark.
I'm just going to quickly save this as a PNG and then hope that I can put it into Discord now that I have boosted because it whinged at me the last time I tried. I can also uncensor Helios because we all know what he looks like now. Teehee.
Yay!
I knew we were going to take a million years to save
there
that.
is a-
That's fine.
There is a brief bit of conversation, and she just goes, "Yeah, he doesn't get to see any of the rest of this.
He doesn't deserve it.
See you around, Tarp. All right, man the bridge. I'm gonna go say hi to some folks. You got it, boss! Woo! And he full on spins on his heel, so it is gonna be jarring for you, Ark. Is he doing it intentionally? Is he just a himbo? We don't know. He's just gonna have a time.
Yeah, that's fine, honestly.
Mind your hip, mind your head, mind every part of your goddamn anatomy. Bye!
Oh. Now that's the end of that chapter.
Indeed. God, picking riddance. I'd had to talk to that guy any longer. Yeah. And then she does just go. She's gonna look over like the head of the boat. Just look out just for a moment because she wants to see this island.
Looking at the island of Kantos, how long has the interference in the lifelock been in place?
Likely, seeing as it started when the cuffs went on. Oh, and I will say, like, once she got back to the boat earlier, she did write another message, like, specifically a buddy plane to Yon, just literally just the words, "I keep my promises. Look to the sky," and then sent it to him.
Cryptic.
Indeed. But since then, it's probably been 3-4 hours. Just let's keep boat stuff in mind and distance and let's have some of these guys have some time to do shit.
Yep. All right. Cool. Well, in that case, Aslyn looks out over the bow at Kantos. I will invite her to roll a perception.
Oh, good. I love perception with Lynn. It's fun. Oh no, it's such a low roll. No, oh no, whatever will I do? Whatever will I do? Whatever will I do with a 10 plus 12? Oh, it's so devastating. My heart shall never recover. I shall not see all the things, surely.
Not all of the things, but quite a lot. From the last time that you approached Kantos, from the ocean proper, on board the ferryman's boat, I think was the last time. You can see the pillars that are on the coast around the island, which were glowing a sort of sick lavenderish kind of purple, which you came to learn was the source of the barrier. None of those
Hmm.
are lit at the moment. Like extinguished candles. And while there are still wisps of purple flicking through the air around the beach, and like around the coast, you can kind of get the idea from where you're standing that it is on all sides of the island, like the last little dregs starting to go down the drain. But otherwise, there is no purple in that sky, no glow, just sunshine. But you also notice that the hallucinatory terrain, which you know that Yon has put in place, is still there.
Makes sense.
And
Even with a ball going down, you
mm,
wouldn't want that on show just in case, because that's basically inviting trouble.
it is. Yeah. But that's the last thing that Lynn notices, which she notices a little late notice, but not by much, is a small
Hmm.
metallic tunk 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 noise coming from the side of the boat, from somewhere down near the water.
Even though she hasn't seen it coming, she's got an idea of who it is. And so she does just calmly look down.
And that's the ferryman, standing on his boat, and he was knocking the side of the Good Question's hull with the lantern on the end of his staff. And on the deck of his little gondola boat, there is a pink Pokemani, who I don't think Lynn has met in person before.
No, she does know the name of though.
Yep.
And also she does know the face because I gesture at Mirror. Mirror has absolutely taken her form to give the debrief.
This is what she looks like. And this particular Pokemani
Exactly.
is staring at Kantos, unable to pull her eyes away. But the ferryman, with his squinty eye that he has, he is looking up at her.
Hello again.
Benefactor.
Ferryman.
This is much sooner a milestone than I was expecting. And far larger of one, if I'm completely honest.
And the people I run with, we tend to get balls rolling very fast. Might I perchance come aboard?
Oh, by all means. There's room.
Ah,
And he sweeps his free hand down and just very gently moves the pink Pokemon closer to his side. Like there's heaps of room, but he's still just moving her out of the way just a smidge more. And she still is staring at Kantos. She cannot look away.
it's understandable. This is basically everything she's ever wanted in a way.
Uh-huh.
And so Lynn she does give a sharp whistle, and then she just hops into the boat once she hears an answering whistle, and she just comes down.
Yeah.
It's a very calm, like, step down into it. For all there is a giant height difference, she does come off the boat, latch onto the side of the hull, and then step down.
Yes. The Good Question is a yacht, and the ferryman's boat is a gondola.
Yes, there is height difference.
Yeah. Quite a bit, but anyway. But yeah, he doesn't seem particularly phased. The boat will rock a little bit. I know Lynn to be a very curious sort. Would she like to roll a perception on the ferryman's boat now that she's on here in the daytime for, I think, the first time?
Yes, I would. 17 plus 12.
Spectacular. Avray does not agree, but that's fine.
Avray, shut the hell up.
That's fine. Okay, so as Lynn is now standing on the deck of the ferryman's boat, the thing that is the most apparent is that, well, there's the living quarters is significantly smaller than on Tarp's boat, which you would expect because it's an itty bitty dinky little thing. But yeah, he apparently manages to cram himself into this really small, like, the whole boat itself is no bigger than no wider than maybe a king size bed. It's very small. And there's maybe about that worth of space in the covered area. And the other thing, now that she's here in the daytime and focusing on it, the deck itself is outfitted with a number of particular little, like, they're kind of like an egg cup, I suppose, where you can infer from what you know that whenever he had to bring ghost or dark types across to Cantos as eggs, he would secure them. So they weren't just rolling around the deck, and every time that he had said to you, a wave came over the boat and it fell off. There was more to it than that. Distinctly more to it than that, because it wouldn't just fall off the boat. It wasn't like it's a raft or anything. And the final thing that Lynn notices, there is no engine, no paddles, no sails. And the style of the boat she would know from her various travels, you would normally get your stick, stick it into the bottom of the river or channel or what have you, and push. The ferryman crosses the ocean on this thing.
Yep.
His stick is not that long.
Nope. It is not. She's honestly assuming magical picking bullshit. Because this is her life. Okay, I looked in commentary. I should not have looked in commentary.
And this is why we don't look in the commentary channel, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man.
I only had this pack.
But yeah, so while you've made all of these observations, the ferryman has just turned to face you and has a hand on Mia's shoulder. Welcome aboard, benefactor.
Good to be here.
Would you like a lift to shore? While I suspect that craft may be more comfortable, I don't suspect it would fare well on the reefs around the island.
And I don't like harming reefs or such. I like keeping them intact. We do have a smaller boat, but I'm reserving that for a reunion for someone else.
Well, we can take this boat to shore. It won't
Thank
take
you.
long. And
Marvelous.
he does absolutely nothing. And the boat starts moving in that direction.
She's just taking that in stride. You want to be a cryptic bastard? Fine, she'll be a cryptic so-and-so right back.
Being a cryptic bastard is like his bread and butter.
I know, it's great, and she loves it.
Does Lynn want to say anything to Mia while they're on the boat?
She does, like straight up, as they're going. She's standing in a captain's stride, so she's got the brace and that sort of stuff, especially with her joints. God bless.
Yeah.
It's been a day. But she does just have it, her hands behind her back, tail acting as the, center point to stop her from rocking everywhere. She just goes, quite a sight, isn't it? Is Mia.
She's going to finally pull her eye away from Cantos just long enough to look at Lynn and then look back. It's not a sight I thought I'd ever see. It's It's so much more beautiful without that wretched purple sheen over it.
Indeed it is.
Can you even see it, benefactor? I would suspect not.
No, you're right. But the air feels different. Yeah. And that makes it beautiful.
And you can hear the cries of surprise and elation from here. And as he says that, the boat bumps up against the tiny ramshackle little dock that he has landed at many, many times before, and that you landed at when he brought you over the first time. And you are now ashore.
I have a feeling you and I will have to have more talks in the future, Ferryman. There are questions I have about quite a few things. History and such. But I think such things can wait for another day.
I suspect there are going to be many, many talks. For quite some time.
It's start of a new age.
An age I never thought I'd see. I'm quite looking forward to seeing Yon stand in the swell and let the ocean lap gently against his legs. A small want, but you may recall that barrier stopped them from getting too close to the ocean. Close
Indeed.
enough to throw a line or a net to fish and supplement their food supply. But to actually touch the ocean, I can't think of anything worse than being kept away from it.
Lynn's got a few ideas of the class and such now. But, yeah, good. She doesn't like asking too many questions on that sort of front. But now she has a few more answers. Yay. But she does just nod and just go, I think I should be off to find Yon now. He's a good man.
He has been for quite some time. And I think, my dear, it is time that you made landfall on Kantos. Yes, no, I with that awful barrier gone, you wouldn't be able to keep me away. Mia is excitedly jumping off the boat. And I'm just going to roll off of that 22 that you got earlier. She's glowing ever so slightly. A very soft pink. Mostly around her hands and her chest. But she's glowing.
Oh. Aww. Lynn kind of... She watches that, and then she does just look back at Ferryman just for a moment, just... A, to see whether he thinks this is normal, and B, also because those two are connected, and she likes seeing people happy, looking at people they care about.
Do you want to roll an insight?
I do. I was literally already rolling.
The Ferryman makes this painfully necessary, unfortunately, because he's just like that.
Ah! Get green, motherfucker! That is how I am figuring out how to roll again, because sometimes it's a little bit. There we go, 22.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. The ferryman, outwardly, does not look any different to how he normally is as he slides off his boat onto the little deck and Duke, and moves in like down that goat track path after Mia. But you get the way from how he's holding his shoulders and how he seems to be watching Mia, even though that's quite difficult to do, like figure out where he's looking with his squinty eye. He's thrilled. He is absolutely over the moon.
Mm-hmm. It takes her a moment to follow, just because she wants to take this sight in. Of people relaxed, of people happy. Then she does step off. Little pat to the boat, just on reflex, given her life.
Yeah, fair.
And then she's making her way, and Roland's normally someone dash, to move, to run at such a quick speed. Even her natural walking speed is like 40 feet. Takes this a bit slower. Is it? And also she's blind as peg.
As they make their way up to the crest of the hill where the town proper starts, long before they even get there, Lynn can hear the town is going nuts. People are crying, they are laughing, she can hear singing, she can hear distinct noises of tiny confusion, but like the town is in an absolute uproar, but it's not a like hear a riot's kind of uproar. This is a holy shit, is that what color the sky is supposed to be? Holy shit.
Yeah.
And the first person that approaches the trio as they get to the top of that ridge where the town proper starts is a fairly tall ghost type who looks a little bit bewildered. And he, unlike the last time you saw this man, who he had kept himself grounded on the ground, feet on the ground at all times. But he is coming at you as fast as he can come, and he is not touching the ground at all. He is hovering just above. A very ghost type thing to be doing. But he runs over and he sort of stops in front of Mia and the ferryman, and he looks at Mia and then looks at the ferryman and then looks at Lynn a few times between the three of them, and he just makes this gesture with his hands as if he has no words to come out, like he wants to express something, but there are no words there. It's just, buh?
Lynn kind of nods in the... He doesn't have to say, because, yeah, she gets it. She knows. I think everyone here knows what he's trying to articulate in the...
Yeah.
But Lynn does just grin and go, told you you'd see it.
He takes in a deep breath and kind of straightens his shoulders as if that's going to help him. And, like, he is too dignified to do, like, the little happy flaps in front of people that he's not intimately familiar with. But, like, he lifts his hands up a little bit as if he were going to start doing happy flaps, and then he just clenches his fists a little bit and then takes in another deep breath and goes, you're incorrigible. I can't... Lynn, this is... It's been...
Indeed.
So long. And he then gets tackled around the middle by Mia, who has started sobbing in joy. And he puts a hand on her head and he actually starts to chuckle a little bit in disbelief still. How did you manage this? Did you kill him?
No. Oh. We've done something better on that front.
You've broken a life lock without ending that life. That's... I never knew you could.
One of the things I've found fun about my career. surprising people with the mundane.
I feel as though I must ask, though, benefactor,
Hmm.
what of the other?
Gone. Sealed. There
Permanently?
is. I believe so. If. If Unbecant's words are anything to go by. Yes, sealed.
I'm not going
There
to
is
roll for
a
him, but
wall.
there is a shock, like a you know, when then like in anime where their eye goes really really round and there's that ding kind of shock take in an anime. Yon is doing that. He's like, I'm sorry, what did you say about my god? Excuse me. Um, and Mia is just
And
sort of got her head tilted to the side, but she isn't just like what. But the ferryman just sort of gives a bit of a chuckle and a nod. There are many things Unbecant can be said to be. And a creature of his word is one of them.
indeed. You will want to speak to Gali at some stage. He's the one who currently has the in place that have the people sealed. You, personally, Ferryman, will also want to know this of while we didn't get the information on how the people were still with us, the information is now below the waves. The ocean has it.
If Helios Dahara is no longer there, the ocean won't keep secrets from me.
I thought as much. I hope it helps.
If nothing, it will quell my curiosity. For I rather like when the dead stay that way. Their stories ended
Indeed.
for a reason. And not everyone gets a sequel.
Mm-hmm. The cases that do can be interesting, but I think this is a satisfying close. But that is now the past. We are in the present. Let's look to the future. Or rather, look to the future in a minute. Let's savor this, eh?
Yon is going to look between the three. Oh, they're all Warns, I think. That are standing before him, and then he gets this bright kind of vibe to him, this very excited kind of vibe. And then he puts a hand to his collar and he goes, Lynn, you are not someone I would expect to have any experience casting a life lock spell. But it may not surprise you to know that it is exhausting.
I thought as much.
So, I can finally rest this one. And you see him pull something off his collar, and there is a very slight little tink, and then a chunk kind of noise as he crushes what was in his hand. And the island doesn't shudder, but the image of it does. And just like the purple barrier around Kantos melted away, the vision of the ruined and decrepit version of Kantos and Lavender Town also melts away, coming back in strips like peeling paint. And underneath, that version that Lynn has seen before, the lush, green, tropical island that Kantos truly is, with the Hall of Origin standing in the center, and a number of buildings that were all just disguised as rocks. A well-populated, well-maintained, well-fed town out in the open for everyone to see.
You always went for your collar. I knew it. Glad to be proven right. You get to finally rest.
It has been a long time since I have seen anyone not of a ghost and dark type Pokemani, and longer still since I saw anyone of any other kind of toon before you and your friends came here. And that little risk I took in trusting you all. And he's just at a loss for words for a moment. He just looks around and he knows that Lynn can see everything and that it won't be hidden again.
And she does smile, and she smiles enough that the laughter lines at the corners of her eyes do crease slightly as she just reaches out and just goes, "You're gonna have support all the way through this."
She's right, you know, Yon. Most people on Johtos, unfortunately, don't even know that the ghost and dark types exist. But that can work in our favor, because it means that you can put your best foot forward. And those of us that are still here have some apologizing to do. Starting with us. I'm so sorry that we didn't stand up to him. But fear does a lot of things, Mia. I don't blame you for anything, either of you. We wouldn't all be here today if it wasn't for the two of you. And now, the three of you. I think we are going to have to put a mural in the hall, as is deserving of heroes.
Just good people doing the right thing.
And that is what makes you heroes, Lynn. Many good people would see our plight and turn a blind eye. But you and your friends, Scribbles, Celeste, Marigold, all of you, you saw our plight. And instead of turning a blind eye, which would have been the far safer, far easier route, you took it with both hands. And you broke it. So you are heroes. And there will be writings of you for Unbekant to read again and again for the rest of time. And I make this as a promise. Both in front of you three and to Unbekant as well. It is the least I can do.
Thank you. I will say there are two others that deserve to be in the mural as well, seeing as they were there for the end. You'll meet them soon enough, I'm sure, but Aliade and I believe how you pronounce it is Warwashi?
Wariwashi, yes. That's the ferryman, just giving a bit of a nod. And Yon also gives a bit of a nod. Yes, Kali. I have heard that name.
From Rion, I believe.
Indeed. Seems as though there are a lot of reunions to come. And
Indeed.
I think it may take me some hours to wrangle everybody, but I think perhaps a feast may be in order because we haven't had any need for one in such a long time. And, well, we have the resources and the reason. So, I have some organising to do. And there are a number of people on this island who I suspect you wish to speak with, so don't let me keep you.
Thank you. There should be a few more people coming off the boat at a point. I left a boat for them. But yes, I think this is going to be a very peckin' good time.
And Jan gives a nod. Oh, sorry, you go.
And she does just go, I'm surprised we haven't been mobbed by a small flying child at this point. Let's go. I want to see the small child. I want to tell people about the hawk. I just need to start walking.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Alright, well, Jon is going to turn and head into town, and Lynn can see him trying to approach particular people, like specific adults in the crowd who are all just looking up at the sky going, there's blue there! There hasn't been blue there for years! The crap! And he's going over and talking to one of them, and then running over and talking to another one, and before too long they're all sort of chatting, and there's this excited buzz that is kind of getting into the air, and, let me see. Do I have a character sheet for this flying child? I don't. That's an oversight.
Lynn is basically here, as bright gold as she can get. A bit scruffy outline, but honestly doing better than she ever has on one of these major crises plots. She's doing decent. I'm just standing there going, where is the child? Where is the child? I would be spooked by a small child running at my head.
Well, I don't have a sheet for her, so I am making this shit up as I go. However, I think this is appropriate for her. A +1 is appropriate. But then there is a little bit of a kind of noise. Are you gonna dodge?
No. Are you kidding? No, this is a small child who's happy. Lynn's passive is higher than that. She intentionally just stays slightly more still because she wants this child to have the best day ever.
Well, you've definitely started that, because Mimi comes rocketing out of the middle distance as Jon has gone to start coordinating things with the other adults on the island, and there's just this boom! Like, she's not very strong. She is like a foot tall and itty bitty. But she has come at your head in speed, and you now have a small child clinging to your face and, like, just staring into you with that one scribbly eye of hers. The sky, it changed. And all the grown-ups are really excited, and so I'm excited, and the sky is different. What happened? They can't tell me because they're too excited. What happened?
And Lynn does gently peel small child from her face so she can speak. Yes. She goes from, like, she peels off the child and then, like, holds the child on her hip, of pure simple reflex of she has got a little ambulata baby who goes on hip. Yep, and it's fair. Pure practice. It's pure practice of an auntie and a mum.
Yeah.
Just goes, big surprises, big changes. And hey, this is the sky now. Blue. You like it?
It's really pretty. Is it always going to be blue? Is it going to be purple again? Is this just for today?
It's never going to be that purple again.
It's always going to be blue. It's always going to be blue. I like blue.
It does change a little bit. It goes through many colors. You're going to like that. You see, at night goes this inky dark blue back. It's called midnight blue for a reason. Very dark, very nice. And you can see all the stars beautifully. There's so many constellations.
Ooh, I've read about
Then when the
those.
sun,
Uh,
when
we have them in the storybook,
oh sorry,
but we couldn't see them. They weren't really there.
they
Wait, Lennon, are they real? Are they real? Are they real?
they are real. They are absolutely real. In fact, there are so many of them. You are going to see them, and there will be more than you can count. Indeed.
She
And
is
it will go
vibrating,
so
absolutely vibrating against your hip.
And Lynn does go full. She's a stagehand. She is theatrics, and as she's holding on the hip, she's gesturing with her other hand, and she is gesturing up at the sky. And she is just going to go off about all the different colors that the sky can go.
And she's going to listen, and her eye is round as anything. And then when Lynn is done, she just goes, "I love the color of the sky. It's so good. It's so good."
Indeed, I do too. All right, but oh, you have got so much, and hey, don't tell anyone else. Don't tell anyone else except maybe a few kids, if you like. You can be the secret keeper on this. I heard there's going to be a feast.
A feast? What's a feast?
Mm-hmm. Feast is where everyone gathers together and they celebrate with a lot of food and a lot of merriment and a lot of joy. And maybe I'll make sure there are some stickers there, eh?
Oh, more stickers. Yes. The wizard didn't have any, and all my friends were jealous. I had to keep my book away.
Oh, well then. Perhaps. Oh, But you say that, and I might not be a caster myself. I might not know too much magic, but I think I can pull something off here. Nothing up my sleeve. What's that? And she's going to sleight of hand, and I hope this works. I hope she gets to bring some joy. Let's see. What's your sleight of hand? Your sleight of hand is a +7. Please go well. Please go well. Hey! That's a 15 +7. So she has this like full-on gesture of her hand, and then she just goes, "What's this?" And she goes behind Mimi's like ear, and all of a sudden she pulls out a roll of stickers.
Mimi's going to just be sort of bouncing on Lynn's hip and doing little happy flaps, and she's like, stickers, so many stickers, they're so pretty. Are there enough for my friends?
Yeah.
Are there enough? Can we give them to all my friends?
I'd say so, and tell you what, I've got to go and do some other things today. I'll be back. I'll definitely be back for the feast. Are you picking kidding me?
Okay.
I'll be back, and if you need more stickers, bring them my way.
Okay, I will.
All right, now, go off, you have fun, you tell everyone about the sky. Later on, in fact, we might even have some stories. I've been all over Inkwell. I've got a few stories. Let's see how it goes.
Stories from beyond the sky. Yes. And she's going to float off Lynn's hip, and then she's going to give some little happy wiggles, and she's holding onto this roll of stickers with both hands, and then she turns, and then she's still floating, because I don't think you've ever seen her stand on the ground. She turns and does the equivalent of a sprint in the other direction. She's gone, and you think you hear in the distance, "I got stickers!"
Wow, that is a pitch. We'd love to see it.
This is what happens when your NPCs are voiced by a soprano.
We love to see it. But she does mutter under her breath. Oh, they're gonna see beyond the sky. They're gonna love it. Alright. Let's see. Grab those two on another day. Or grab them at the feast. They'll need to see their dad at some stage. Let's see. That one's going. Those two will connect at some point. Good for them. They deserve nice things. I think it's time I caught myself a wizard and a druid.
All right, swell. So, at some point while you were talking to Mimi, the ferryman and Mia disengaged from your presence and have disappeared. No doubt to mingle. And surprisingly, there you can't see any great swaths in the crowd that are standing around. Like when you were here last with the ferryman, when they saw him coming, they ran. But you can't see any distinct gaps in the crowds that might indicate that's where he is. So he's in there somewhere.
Well, it's during the day and he's with Mia.
Yeah, a lot of them haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah. He's not being death and a taker right now. He's one of them. Someone who's old and knows.
Absolutely. So, how do you want to go about finding yourself a wizard and a druid?
She kind of stands there for a moment just thinking that through because yelling at a time like this is a no-no. Usual methods of climb somewhere high and see, well, actually, these guys are taller than most people.
Yes. There is a distinct average of Pokemani that is very familiar. Most toons are around that 3 to 4 foot range. And Pokemani are... Pokemani are no different. You've got outliers like Iona and Arc and Helios and Wariwashi, but most of them are around that 3 to 4 foot range. Faber is 5'11" and is a Frankenali, not a Warn. Iona
Indeed
is 5'2" and is a Frankenali and not a Warn. And both of them have long white hair. So, I don't think it's going to take too much. Maybe roll a perception or an investigation, whichever takes your fancy.
You know what? I'm gonna go investigation. Spice of life. 23.
23, I love that. Okay. So you can see them as you move sort of through the town, around and through this absolutely buzzing crowd. You can see the pair of them off in the distance, standing outside Yon's house where they have been staying. But with that 23, you can see they're a little indistinct for how far away they are. They should be in a little bit more clarity, a little bit more detail than that, higher res. But they're definitely there. You can see the very long white hair and the shades of blue in Iona's outfit and the pink and brown in Faber's.
Got an inkling, but she does make her way. She's pondering being a stealthy bastard. She's pondering it.
Yeah.
She likes scaring the wizard.
Okay, let me get his sheet.
What can I say? She is, at her heart and core, a little shit.
She is, in fact, a stagehand. What are you rolling? Am I doing a whiz save to contest?
Yeah, you know what? Roll a perception, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. A perception?
I hope she gets higher than Faber. If she gets higher than Iona, that's fine. I just want her to get higher than Faber.
Well, I mean, I know what your stats are like. The chances are pretty dang good. Perception, alright. We've got, oh gosh, can I type today? And Iona, where are you? This is in alphabetical order.
Yay!
Alright, let me roll one for Iona.
Yay!
You know what? I think you've got them both just on my base level of maths. Yep, you've got them both. They don't see you coming. They seem preoccupied on something else.
So what? What she does is she's letting them be preoccupied, and she's using the environment, and she does walk around the side just so when they do notice her, she's going to be leaning against the building, casual as can be, and she's going to watch them at first. Just watch them.
Okay.
And then once she's satisfied, then she'll speak. But how are they looking?
Well, for everyone following along at home who may have missed this as a detail, Faber and Iona Dominim are based on the style of the Secret of Kells, because they are from Solunia. And at the moment, their designs are in a little bit of a disarray. They have a bit more of that sketchy kind of outline, which is more prominent in Wolfwalkers. And, like, they don't seem to be in any pain, but they are kind of leaning on each other. They look like whatever is happening to them is expending an awful lot of their energy. But Lynn can see their outlines going sketchy, and their colours they're watercolour toons. Their colours are sort of bleeding into one another and moving places, and it doesn't look comfortable, but they don't seem to be in pain.
Amusing, because you know how I've described Lynn's outline problem as, looking a lot like Wolfwalkers nowadays.
Yeah.
So there is that vague flash of concern at first of, oh shit. Or she actually watches them for a bit and, calms herself down before going medic mode.
Fair enough.
It's probably good that she snuck up on them on that front so that she could have that moment of, holy shit. Oh, redesign, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Is she going to interact with them at all?
She will, after a bit of just watching them, judging, and then deciding to be a shit, and she just goes, pleasant day, eh?
Let me roll with
out of nowhere!
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, in all things, Iona is unflappable because she is a druid and they have high whiz. Faber, on the other hand, let's see. This always happens to this wizard. It was not a nat.
I love him. Lynn loves him because it's just so fun to scare him. The first time she did it was this is revenge for Network and Kara. After that, it was like, no, you're quality entertainment.
So Iona completely keeps it together. She seems to be more or less holding her brother upright. But Faber, he got a 9. He jumps, and there is a distinct shuddering of his outline before he sort of leans back into Iona as he realizes who is there. It's like, Lynn? I suspect you have something to do with this.
Do I?
Of course you do. I may not know you that well, but I know you well enough.
Indeed. A few problems are wrapped up. More ways than one.
Good. And he tries to push himself off Iona and then just sort of slumps back down onto her, and she gives him a pat on his back. Like, both of their outlines are still going nuts. But he's just... Sorry if I'm not particularly good company at the moment. We seem to be going through a bit of a change, which is a bit odd for someone of our age, but alright. Speak for yourself, Faber. You're the old man. Thank you, Iona. Wonderful observation. I'm thrilled. And she just gives a little giggle.
Yeah, your siblings, but yeah, redesigns are a bitch and a half. I do not envy you. I've been through enough of them. But
yes, it's been going for a while, but it was only in the last few hours it's kind of gone a little bit nuts. And he stretches, and Lynn can hear this creak and this pop, like, when you grab a piece of paper and you've bent it, and then you pull the sides out and it goes pack, like that.
Yeah, Lynn straight up goes, don't do that. You're gonna regret it. Trust me, I do it every morning.
I feel so stiff. This is awful. This is
I
why all the
know.
young people should get redesigns.
But they show you've grown. It's major plot points, major happiness. Now, here's a question for you.
Hmm.
Now, I've found it's nice to lie down when the redesign's going through, just let it run its course. You want to do it here or in your own bed?
There is a moment, and it seems like all of the realizations hit both Faber and Iona at the same time, and Lynn can see their eyes snap wide as the implications all land in a row. And there's sort of a scritchy, scribbly, pencil on paper kind of noise that kind of just rips out of their line work, and a bit of a swoosh, swoosh, swoosh of a paintbrush sort of noise. And their line work snaps back into place and their colours settle. And then they don't look too different. Lynn has definitely seen more outrageous redesigns, but they sort of take a moment, they're holding on to each other, and then they stand up and look down at each other and look at themselves, and then look over at Lynn, a little bit surprised.
Do it.
And if nothing else, they kind of look their age. At least Iona does.
Lynn just looks utterly pleased with herself because she figured such a phrase might help.
We prop up Obby, who did all the lovely artwork. Thank you, Obby. Heart emoji. Love you.
We love it. It's great. It's fantastic. We love to see it. She does give them a once over, like straight up gets off the wall, gives a circle around them both, and then goes, "Picking fantastic."
They're still in a little bit of shock from the implications and also the sudden settling of their line work. Oh, I quite like this dress. Yeah, I dig this. I could still hike that up and climb a tree. Yeah. Of course, you'd be worried about climbing trees, you wild thing. Of course. It's funny, Lynn. This actually reminds me a lot of the gown that I wore when I graduated university quite some time ago. Except in my colours. Tell you what, I look dreadful in black.
Bless you. Well, maybe it's a sign.
Maybe. But, is it really safe to go home?
Helios is defeated. War's over. It's done.
Iona and the Pokemani here have been nothing but generous and charitable and so hospitable. But it's not home. And Aisling is waiting. And
let's get you home.
She's not been able to be in an ambulata today because she went through 13 of them yesterday. So she is tired. So I think this will make quite a nice surprise for her.
Indeed. All right. There's supposedly going to be, well, I say supposedly, there is going to be a feast here later on. But I think between us, we can slip away for a bit. Let's get you home, eh?
I have never heard more beautiful words in my entire life.
Thick and fantastic. And she does reach for her key. And the smile she gives is so satisfied. Like this monkey, people can't tell her age by looking at her, but she looks, no matter what age you can think of for her, she in this moment looks so utterly content and settled. She just goes, right. Key, circle, no cart this time, but it's the leggies. And she puts the key into Yon's door, opens it, and then just gestures at the two.
Are you opening it straight into Aisling?
She can't open it into Aisling. What she can do,
Yes, she can.
what she can do is open it into Halloween Town,
Oh,
and
right,
then
yeah.
from Halloween, open it into Aisling.
Right, yes. Got to do the stop first, yes, of course.
Yeah, we gotta do the pit stop. We gotta do the pit stop. God, actually, you know what? As she gets into town, she will just go, I gotta yell something first. Hi, Kara! I'm back! I'm alive! I'm healthy! I'm gonna bring you a guy to put in jail later! It's great!
Faber and Iona are just gonna look at Lynn. I hope we're getting a debrief later, Lynn.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it, including how we had, a horse jump off a dragon and deal with stuff. It was great.
And that's not even the strangest thing I've heard since lunch.
Lynn just cackles and then gives a small, tiny whoop of delight because the floor lifts her up slightly and then puts her down. She's like, I love this place so much.
Both of the Dominims are going to chuckle at that, and Iona is going to give the nearest, lamp post or something a fond little pat, and Faber will just sort of smile at the footpath. Keeping well, I see, Kara? He doesn't expect a response. They weren't exactly on 100% friend terms, but, he's just like, oh, be friendly. Oh, he gets a nudge!
Yay! He gets a nudge! Ah!
That's just going to make him grin a bit more.
Not quite enough to toss him over the place.
He will sort of pinwheel his arms a little bit, and then just right himself. Yes. Now, I am an old man. Behave.
Oh, you're not too old. You're not at the age where I designate kneecaps can be taken. Well, actually, any age can have a kneecap taken. It's fun. Dang, I should have stolen more people's kneecaps today. I'm devastated now. I'll do it another point.
I'm not even going to ask.
I have one in the collection already that people know of. And then as she's saying this, she full on did the hand gesture and everything. She did that with one hand. With the other hand, she's going for the key and putting it in the lock and turning. And then she just goes, "You ready?" Okay.
Ultimately, a little nervous actually. Goodness only knows what Aisling is going to do, but I can't wait. Me either.
You want to open the door?
Yes, I think I do. And he'll reach down a hand to take the handle off Lynn.
She steps to one side, just steps around them both so that they can both be there together, and just folds her hands behind her back. She wants to watch this.
Okay. The two turn, Faber turns the handle and pushes the door open, and you are met with Aisling's front room. And unlike the last time that you saw the front room where it had been completely ransacked by Helios's followers, it's been put back in order over the last little while. The informants that Lynn sent to do just that have done just that. But there is a moment where Faber lets his hand linger on the door handle just for an extra moment, and then pulls it back as the two of them step through the door, and he starts to half push the door closed. And he just calls out, Aisling, we're home. Would Lynn like to roll a perception?
Yeah, she would indeed. That is a 14 plus 12.
Great, I love that. Alright, so for a moment, there's nothing. And then there's this really heavy pause. The kind of someone going and staring with very wide eyes. And as the door sort of starts to swing closed between them, Lynn can see these exclamation marks in every colour of crayon and Sharpie and ballpoint pen imaginable showing up on the wallpaper of that front room. There is the high-pitched squeal of a kettle on the stove just going bonkers in the distance somewhere. And then there is a boom, 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 as a mountain of pillows and blankets just fall out of nowhere and basically bury the two older Toons and nudge the door shut.
Case closed. This is their reunion. She turns the key to leave them there. They know where they're going if they want to come back, but they deserve their time. And so she just takes her key, puts it, and she's gonna go back to Cantos later, of course. She is, of course she is, but while she's here, I think there's someone she wants to see first.
Mm-hmm.
And so she looks at the door, and she does think before she puts her key back around her neck and just going, I'll be back later. And she turns, and she always knows where Network is. She intrinsically always knows where Network is. And she just begins walking. Because there's someone she wants to see.
Splendid. I love it.
Yeah. And she will go. Do we want to do this as our final thing?
I think so. Yeah.
She does go to her home. Would a certain shadowy child like to roll me a perception?
Certainly. Finally using his dice for him. Outrageous. That's not very good, son. That's not very good. Da-da-dee-da. Where is your character sheet? There it is. Da-da-da-da. Perception, there we go. $13.
So, whatever Rye's doing within Network, it's taking up a bit of his focus. Taking up a bit. But after a little bit, he does notice it's such a subtle change, but it's in the flicker behind his heart as well. That little candle flame, it does feel just a little bit warmer. And it might be a trick of the light, but perhaps the gold in the walls has just gotten one shade brighter gold.
He'll stop once he notices that, and he'll just he'll just stand there, kind of frozen, and look from left to right, and put a hand on his chest. Ah, I know what that means. I know what that means. Where is she, Nettle? Where is she?
And there is a bright hum, and the door frame at the front of the house highlights in gold for a moment as there is a click of it coming open. And without Lynn even having to touch it, the door opens, and she's tired. in the way that someone is tired when they have done a very good job and are satisfied with it. Day well spent. And not too frayed, not too damaged. Looking as good as she gets nowadays. There's your mum, Rye. Smiling.
There is a call that starts off distant and then gets louder and louder as he just goes, poof, and she is going to tackle you.
She is prepared.
She doesn't need to be prepared. He's still a little weenie. I'm going to say this is a strength? Would this be a strength? I'm going to say strength because that's funny.
That's a 2.
He is a twig!
You know what? You boof into her, and her arms come around. You are taller than her now. You're taller than her, but oh, you fit in her arms perfectly as she spins you with your own momentum and then brings you down into a mum hug. And just goes, "Hey, my boy. I'm home. I'm home, right?"
And I think that's a really good spot for a fade to black.
Indeed.
I very much enjoyed that. I hope everyone else did too. That was good. That felt good.
Catharsis!
And I loved watching everybody yell at Ark in the commentary channel. He
Yeah.
deserves it. He's a dickhead.
Irredeemable dickhead, and we're really looking forward to seeing him in prison garb.
Mm-hmm.
We, other people in this universe, one guy who's gonna laugh his socks off, even though he doesn't have socks on his Pokemani feet. But so many people in the future who are going to love to see it.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I think it's time we say goodbye to our audience. Thank you very much for playing this with me, Vwild. I have had a wonderful time. Bye-bye, audience.
Bye-bye!